I pick for Robin clean. I pick for Robin clean. Are those the words? I don't remember.
Wow.
Keep going, Penny.
Incredible.
I don't think that's the right tune.
That's crazy. You had one job. You had one job, and you couldn't look up the lyrics. Well,
pick for Robin clean.
okay, thank you so much.
Hey y'all, welcome to Real Relatives, the podcast where three siblings dive into the world of TV and film. My name is Tosin.
And I am Penny Carmichael.
And I am Gene Rogers.
And we are the Real Relatives.
Extended fam, welcome back. It will be no surprise to any of you that we are covering Sinners today. So we all watched the movie recently, really enjoyed it. Shout out to Ryan Coogler and the team. And we're gonna break it down a little bit today. So spoiler warning for Sinners. But before we do that, we got to do our quote of the day. And today's my turn. So today's quote of the day is, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?"
What?
One more time. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I feel like I've definitely heard this quote. Like I know I have heard it, but where?
All right, we'll put 15 seconds on the clock.
Which kind of defeats the purpose of quote of the day if you don't know where you heard it.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I have no idea. Wait, say it one more time. Have you ever danced with Lucifer
the devil
in the pale
moonlight? What do you mean pale of the moonlight? Why are you adding words?
Oh, yeah, whatever. Let's go. I have no idea.
All right. Well, Tosin, you go first.
Because it's Gene, I'm going to guess Vampire Diaries.
Not a bad guess. You do know me well.
Yeah. He likes to follow a theme. Oh, no, I'm revealing my strategy to you, Penny. Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Yes, girl.
Well, let's see if you can. Yeah, see if you can. Can you utilize the strategy?
Okay, you did mention
or what?
the only vampire stuff you watched was Vampire Diaries. Shout out, and True Blood, I think. So my guess is True Blood.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
0 for 2. 0 for 2. It is actually from Batman. It is actually from Batman, 1989 Batman. It is. It's the Joker. It's Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Jack Nicholson.
Actually, the Joker popped into my head. Not Jack Nicholson. I definitely
Heath Ledger, but
I swear Joker popped into my head.
You gotta believe in yourself next time, kid.
Extended fam, I'm gonna start a petition online to stop Gene from being able to do quote of the day. Please, as many signatures as possible. Share them.
I picked a really popular movie, and it was like on theme.
Share the petition with your people and let's stop this evil. Okay.
I actually don't think that one was. I don't think that one was so bad.
That's wild salty.
Yeah, I think it was fine. Continue.
Extended fam, don't listen to Tosin, but listen to me. I want you all to share this podcast. Please find us on socials. We are on, I think, all the social platforms, or maybe just Instagram and YouTube. And find our podcast anywhere that you find podcasts at Real Relatives.
REEL Relatives.
Very good. Thank you for that. Let's get into the binge. So today we are actually going to have a super binge episode. We're going to talk Sinners. We all had so much to say that we decided we were not going to do a banter. So sorry for those of you who listened specifically for the banter, but we are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk Sinners. And before we get into it, I'm going to do my a little summary of the movie. So Sinners is a supernatural horror film directed by the esteemed Ryan Coogler, set in 1932 Mississippi. The story follows the Smokestack twins, Smoke and Stack, and they are World War I veterans who are returning to their hometown of Mississippi after spending time in Chicago's criminal underworld. They come back to Mississippi because they want to open a juke joint, and the movie takes place over the course of a day as we see them come back to town and try to get the juke joint up and running. So we watch them recruit Bo and Grace Chow to make the sign for the juke joint. They recruit Delta Slim and their cousin Sammy to do the music, along with Perline, and then Smoke's former lover Annie to cook. Stack's former lover Mary also makes an appearance. She is a white passing woman that Key and Peele would refer to as an octoroon. And in the middle of their opening night, a vampire named Remick arrives and basically causes chaos, starting to turn locals into vampires, including Mary and Stack. The humans and vampires battle it out, and then Smoke eventually sacrifices himself to destroy the vampires and also kill the real villains of the story, the clan members of the town. And that is more or less where the movie ends. So, with all of that said, ladies, what were your thoughts?
Wow. This movie, I honestly didn't know what to expect going in because I had no plans of watching the movie.
Why?
Because
Tell
it was
the people.
categorized under horror, and I don't do horror. Okay, I don't.
You are a part of the blank community.
The scaredy cat community. Scaredy cat, stand up. Woo woo. I mean, meow meow.
Oh, it's crazy.
But I wasn't planning on watching it, but fortunately I gave into peer pressure, and I'm so glad I did watch it because I mean, one, I love anything that's like super blackety black and unapologetically black, and that's what this movie was. And the story was told so well. It was unique, it was different. I had a good time watching it.
Penny?
Yeah, I too am a scaredy cat. Toast is more of a scaredy cat than I am, but
I was going to say
I'm a scaredy cat.
Okay.
What did you say? Oh, no.
No, so, we're going to cut that out.
So watching the teaser, I said, "Oh, this is one of those demonic things that I don't need in my spirit." I was like, "That's okay." Fair. Then I watched the trailer. I said, "Oh, maybe it's actually not that crazy." And people were like, "It's fine." So, at first I was like, I don't know what I'm going to get going into this. Like, kind of had no idea. Like, I feel like a lot of people were like, I don't know what to expect here. It did unsettle me a bit. It did unsettle me a bit.
Ooh. I remember when you left the theater, because I feel like we had very different perspectives on the movie. Right? When I saw you after leaving the theater, you were like, "So y'all weren't praying in there? Y'all weren't? What did you say?"
Because brother, the lights went up, and I saw everybody getting up. They said, "Oh, it's such a good movie." I said, "Blood of Jesus!" I was in there like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I literally looked around while the movie was still rolling. And I looked around. I said, "Is everybody okay? Am I the only one who's like upset?"
So I will typically pray when things seem like demonic, but maybe it was like the Blackness to me that I was just like, yeah, that I forgot my instincts, And also there was no satanic stuff. I think that's what really gets me when I hear like chants.
Yeah. Horns. I don't like when people start putting horns on their head.
Yeah.
I don't care if you call it antlers or what.
When I hear chants, I will mute it if I can, or plug my ears. That's not coming into my home.
Our app is coming out like crazy.
No facts.
You sound very app right now.
It doesn't matter. The only chants they were doing with those Irish tunes, boy, and those chants, those were banging.
That was a little smooth.
What I'll say, what I loved about the movie was so it was super black. It was also a great horror movie. There was also great, obviously music in it. There was a lot of social commentary, but honestly, what kind of surprised me was the attention given to the love stories. There was, we don't always see the best depictions of black love on the small screen or the big screen, and I feel like Ryan throughout all of his movies has made an effort to include a positive black love story, and this one he got about one and a half of the way there. But
1.5.
Specifically, the story between Smoke and Annie, it was tender. It was kind of heartbreaking. It was real. It was beautiful. I don't know. What did y'all think?
I just have to say, Black women yesterday, Black women today, and Black women forever. Black women, I stand. I stand. I loved Annie. I really thought it was cute.
Annie had sense too. She had sense.
Yes, she had sense. She was her and Smoke were the only ones who moved with sense. Even Smoke,
Mm.
sometimes
Yeah,
he
yeah.
would
Smoke had a little.
falter a
You know
little
what I'm saying?
bit.
Yeah. His brother and
He
everything.
had
That was
he
kind
had
of
a very
his
soft spot for
weakness.
his brother. Yeah, and that's
True.
also the other like black love that happens in this movie, right? Is Smoke and Stack's love for
Mm.
each other. That's black love right there.
Come on
Ooh,
now.
snap, snap,
Um
Come
snap,
on
snap,
now.
snap.
Healthy
um
masculinity. Come on now.
Period.
yeah, but I just love that, Smoke was the more serious of the twins and stuff. But with
Yeah.
Annie, he was so soft, but also at the
Yes.
same time, Annie was also allowed to be soft with Smoke. They just had they were
Mm-hmm.
just a big fluffy pile of softness. And I feel like a lot of times, black men, they're not allowed to be soft, but also black women aren't allowed to be soft, especially when they're
True.
like
True.
dark
True.
skin and curvier and they look the way that
Mm-hmm.
Annie looks. But I really love that, like, with their relationship, we got to see, just a softness, a love there. It wasn't a struggle. I mean, everybody was struggling at
They
the end, fighting for
struggled,
their
but
lives.
I mean,
yeah,
they
yeah,
Yeah,
tried.
yeah,
but it wasn't a struggle love, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I just love that a black woman was saved in a way by her black man without it being like this struggle and her being like abused and all that stuff.
Yeah. Like all the struggle was on the outside of the relationship, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they brought you into the story, and then they lost a child or whatever. I guess before we had seen them on screen, and
Oh
that
yeah,
was
that
like,
little handprint. Oh,
yeah,
so
bro.
sad.
That first of
Yeah.
all, with kids, I was like, nah. What's I said? Where did this story come from? That was honestly the most horrific part of the story for me. Forget the
Oh,
vampires.
not the
Uh,
okay. Gene's a father.
I
He's
mean,
an involved
that is
father.
really sad,
it
So
was.
many
It
people, it's
was.
hard for them to like move on from something like that happening.
Yeah. And I think it broke them a little bit.
Yeah, it did. And it's funny actually because let me tell you. So in the theater, when he was like, "Oh, like don't make me say it," and she was like, "Well," and he was like, "I love you and I miss you and like I want you," whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There was multiple people who was like, "Oh," and I was like,
Yeah, he was just so soft for her, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, they love each
I
other
did
so
roll
much.
my eyes at that at first, but then like the longer I watched, I was like,
What's
okay,
wrong with
fine,
you,
fine.
man? Jeez,
Because they
just
were like, oh, and I
ice
was like,
spots
girl,
where my heart used to be. I got an ice
I
spots.
don't
Look,
care. I don't care.
um, what pissed me off though, low key, was everyone who was talking about. Oh, I thought Annie was Smoke's mom. What are you talking about?
Of course they thought that. Of course they thought that. They see
Tell them
again a
why.
dark
Tell them
skinned
why.
black woman, curvy, and y'all want to mammify her automatically.
Speak
That's
on
what
it.
y'all did.
Preach.
We're not gonna let
Y'all's
it happen.
colorism, racism, all the
Not on this
isms is
podcast.
showing.
Not on
Not
this
on this, not
podcast.
on this
Because
2/3 black women podcast.
whoa, okay, hold on, but three
And
thirds
Jean
black.
is
Hold
married
on, it
to a black
was
woman.
facts. She was sexy. The whole movie was sexy. First of all, when she look, man, she gripped the man. She said, "I know your
They were
body didn't
doing.
forget me." I said,
I know. I was
"Huh?"
like, oh,
I said,
oh my
"Oh,
gosh. I was like,
really?"
oh my
I said, "Oh,
gosh.
really?" It's hot.
Hmm.
It's hot, but it's not. It wasn't just them. Fast forward, obviously, Stack and Mary, different kind of relationship.
Mm,
Um, okay, all right, yes.
mm.
You know what? Y'all just go ahead. Go ahead. Y'all
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
feelings out. Get the
Penny,
feelings out.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to do it? Because let's go
Yes.
in.
Off the bat, I was already irritated. I said, "Why is this white woman in my film? Why am I seeing this white?" I understand what she represented as the
Hmm.
Hmm.
movie went on, but just on site, I was like, "It needs to stop. It needs to end.
Boo,
I don't like it."
tomato.
But then you learned that she was
And here's the
mixed.
Shut up.
okay. It's crazy because she's technically, I guess, in the movie they make her like 1/8 like black, and like Ryan Coogler really
And
went out and found
Octoroon.
somebody who was like
Yeah.
1/8 black. So I was like, okay. He's like, no,
Levels to
it's
the
gonna be
Kugler.
accurate. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be accurate. But I already have this thing with Haley Steinfeld, y'all know. No hate on her actually,
Sure.
because it's like
She's a
irrational.
wonderful
Technically, she's
person
a good
in real
actress.
life. Yeah.
No, she's a good actress. She does so well in her roles. All her roles are really annoying, which is why when I see her face, I get irritated. But it's because she does a good job. So it's really
Okay.
not rational.
Okay.
But anyway, I was
Mm.
kind of irritated, but I understand like what Mary's character represented and kind of like what Stack and Mary's relationship represented.
Mm-hmm.
Moral of the story: white women, they're gonna,
Dangerous.
everything will go wrong. They're
Hmm.
dangerous.
Mm.
Maybe even the devil.
You said maybe even evil.
I said
Um,
devil, but
oh, yeah. Yeah, so I just feel like the whole situation between Stack and Mary is one of the learning points from the movie that like black men are going to completely miss. I know they're blind. I know they're blind to the message
What do you
behind
mean by that?
Stack and Mary's relationship. Like I felt bad for the fate of Stack, but also Stack was blinded by his white delight, and he brought some of
White
the
delight
things.
is crazy.
He brought some of it upon himself. He really did. Like Mary was a loose cannon from the jump. From
Why
the
you say that?
from the opening scene when we first meet Mary,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
she's already a
Mm-hmm.
problem, and she would repeatedly put Smoke in danger
Stack.
just because she was
Mm-hmm.
horny for her man Dingo.
Mm.
Like when they were at the train station, I can't remember the line, it's going viral on the internet, but basically she was like, you know,
Then you stuck your tongue in my coos and effed
yes,
me so good I thought you changed your mind.
exactly. And she was just shouting that, and Stack was like, girl, like relax, stop saying that.
Those are
And
lynching words.
Bro.
thank you.
No, because I
Yeah,
was like, you want him to die. You want him to die. Like, what?
exactly. And she would constantly do that. Like she would constantly show up in these black places that were supposed to be, you know, places of peace, or or
Mm-hmm.
Stack was
Mm-hmm.
just trying to move on and live his life, open his juke joint, and she would show up as a white woman without a care in the world and just say and do these crazy things without thought about the repercussions behind it. And so I'm just kind of like, Stack, again, you're really cool. I liked you. It's unfortunate, sort of, I guess, the fate that you got, but also why you could have made her leave
Let
and
me
you
tell you
didn't.
why. Let me tell you why. It's because he been robbing trains. What did he say? He been robbing trains and banks, and he had to steal that for the night. You know what I mean? You had to steal that kitty for the night, and just is what it is.
Hope it was
That's who
worth
Stack
it.
is.
And that loogie in the mouth.
Bro, that actually was the
Oh,
second most horrific
oh,
part of the movie. She said, "You're
when
drooling." She said, "You want some?" She said,
I
because
oh.
remember, at this point, he hadn't turned yet. She said,
no,
"You want some?" This man opened his mouth, looked her in the eyes, and said, "Uh huh."
he was looking like a rabbit. She looked rabid, like literally rabid. And he was like, this white woman hawk loogies into his mouth. When
Nah,
I tell
that's
you, I
crazy.
audibly gagged in the theater. And I know some of y'all
I
are into
mean,
that. I know
I
some
am
of y'all are
telling
into
you,
that, but it's
I
not
am
me.
telling you that in our theater, that's the part that most people jumped. That was the biggest jump scare, guaranteed.
It was disgusting. I was like, all right, Ryan,
It wasn't
relax.
even a loogie. It was like a full
All
stream.
right,
Like
actually, we
it
got to
just
move on
started
because it's
jumping.
actually now it's in my head. Now I'm visualizing it, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna
Gonna
move on
throw
to the
up.
unexpected relationship that was actually maybe the sexiest one was Preacher Boy, Sammy, and Perline. She was at the train station showing him the caboose, and he was ready from there. He was ready from
You're lame.
there.
You're lame. One, two. If
Oh,
Preacher Boy
I
had dropped
just got
some of those
that.
lines on
Yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I too would be up front and
Which
center.
lines? Wait, whose
So
lines? Whose lines?
he Preacher Boy, if he was like, because he was like, I'm not that nice, and I'm not, or he's like, I'm not always nice, and I'm not that young, or whatever. When
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
look like a
yeah, yeah.
young,
Now that
nice
was
boy,
smooth.
and I said,
I feel like the line that a lot of people I've been seeing, being repeated on social media when he
Hmm.
was just like, "You're so beautiful, I want to taste you.
I just want to taste
I just want
you.
to
My
taste
man's,
you." I was
mm,
like,
my
"Oh,
man's, and
okay."
taste he did, and taste he did.
But also,
he showed it.
I was rolling my eyes at the little Samster, because when it came time to shove that wooden stake into her chest, and he was like, I was like, "Stop! You just met her. Kill her.
No, 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 no.
Shove the
True.
See, no,
wooden stake into her chest
You gotta
and
explain
run."
something. So look, let me explain something. Earlier in the movie, right? Stack was explaining. You know what I'm saying? We didn't. He said you're gonna find that button, right? Then you wanna lick it like ice cream down from the corner store. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to go too fast. He had not experienced too many things like
Not
this.
Gene remembering the whole monologue. You perv, you
Hey,
nasty.
these. What are you talking about, perv and nasty? I got a wife, and I gotta. Hey, we gotta make sure things. Anyway, look, this man had not
Okay.
experienced this sort of thing before. Your first time, your
Was that his
first
first time?
time,
We don't
it
know.
was early. Look, you
Didn't
could
look
tell
like
this
it.
guy. He did. It looked like he didn't have a lot of experience. Okay, he was.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that's gonna get you wrapped up. That he went down there, and he showed what kind of musician he really was. All right, because he was singing on that thing.
I mean,
All
to be
right.
honest, on the movie, I was side eyeing all the cheaters because there was a lot of married
There were a lot of
people.
cheaters.
But like, I understood why Pearline dropped them draws after she heard Sammy sing. I get
Facts.
it.
Just two
Facts, facts, facts.
cheaters.
I guess just
Hmm.
yeah, just the two. Two is too many though. Where
That's
hey,
right. We're moral and
True.
upright over here.
Black men don't cheat coalition. The black men don't cheat coalition. Look, Sammy singing was
Mm.
obviously a central part of the movie, and like the music by itself was just like wonderful. Drew's voice is incredible, but then it was also the
Yeah,
reason that, if I'm remembering right, that like Remick was interested in them in the first place, right?
Yeah.
that's true.
I think that's basically why he popped up. He was just like, "Hey, Boo, heard your voice. It's beautiful. I think you can help me get to my ancestors." And so I, being, a white person, I know, he was Irish and they weren't considered a white and eedy, but my inner whiteness, I'm just going to take it for myself because often white people just want what isn't theirs. So just did that.
True, true. You spent
That
some
is
bars today,
true.
Toast.
That is true.
Oh, I'm in my bag. Like, come on. Y'all know
He,
me.
I like the Irish background though, and again, this is something that I was not aware of. Right, like after the fact, you know, on the internet, everyone talking on the Reddit threads, everyone else like talking about like the Irish ancestry and why that was important to the film. And how like Irish people struggled in the UK and then again in America. But like there was this interesting kind of messaging, I guess, that Ryan was putting forth about like how sometimes you go from being the oppressed to being the oppressor, and you really feel like because you went through oppression, you have a right to like it's like, oh, I can relate to
Hmm.
you, and I can and like it's not as bad that I'm doing it because I've been through it, type of thing. And I feel like I don't know, that's still happening today.
Yeah,
It
absolutely. Like,
does. No, I was just gonna say we see that happen with minorities a lot. I think particularly this movie is like highlighting the experience of Black folks in America, and I think like a lot of times people who were not Black but still considered minorities, we saw time and time again where they would gain some like a sliver of power, and then they
mhm.
Mm.
would kind of use it to their advantage in a way that they're like, well, at least I'm not Black, or I don't have to be like at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly what
that
he
part.
was doing, using that power, and he was
Yeah, no, no, no. And the totem pole thing, that's like perfect into what I was going to say. I always say that like people don't really care about equality. We like people just don't want to be at the bottom of the societal totem pole. And so like we're here talking about we see it with other minorities quite often, but even within the Black community we see it as well. Like think about how like heterosexual Black people will
Mm.
treat Black people in the queer
mm-hmm,
community. Cis Black
mm-hmm.
people will treat
Hmm.
other trans Black people in the community. And so it's just kind of like, wait, we've all come from struggle to some capacity, and instead of like be like, all right, time to band forces together, it's like, no, people just want to step on each other so that they can get closer to that white approval and that proximity to whiteness. And it's unfortunate to see.
But that's the way society is
Yep.
set up. Like it feels so hard to actually win, right? Like I can't I'm not I it's like I can't actually get ahead. I can't get to the top. So the best I can do is not be the bottom. How do I not be the bottom? I'm going to push other people down the totem pole, right? And the ironic thing in this movie, for multiple reasons, we're talking about totem poles. Let's talk about the First Nations people in the movie
Oh
who are at the
gosh.
bottom of the totem pole
Jeez.
in American society,
Oh
and these are the only people
gee.
who are actually trying to do the right thing and warn, hey,
Mm-hmm.
there's something dangerous happening here. Hey, is there
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
is there a demon in your house? Oh, oh
Yeah.
no, you say.
Like they
Sun's going
they
down. I'm
came
out.
to us first. They came to us first, and we're trying to tell you, which is exactly what happened. They came to them first, and they tried, but they didn't want to
And
listen.
let me
And
tell you
look
something.
what happened.
If anybody knows how to identify a white demon, it is an indigenous person.
Because they came to them first. They came to
First,
them
yeah.
first,
You know what
They've
bro.
this
been
looks
dealing
like.
with they've been dealing with white demons since.
And shout out to
Since
them.
day
Like, I feel
one.
like they handled it the way that I feel like a lot of Black people would have handled it. It was just like, okay, well, we tried to warn you. Gotta
I
go.
bet.
It was as simple as that. And then they left to go and do what to
Truly the
go and live their
embodiment
lives.
of, hey, if you like it, I love it. You know,
Exactly,
hey, do
exactly.
your thing, baby. Do your thing, baby. The sun's going down
He
and
said,
I'm
God,
going
God
home.
bless you, or God
Hey,
protect you.
hey, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're making your choices, and she wants to walk back in and be like, "Oh, don't worry, I scared them. Oh, what's going on here?" Mm-hmm. That's right. And now this is how you're going to live your life now.
Or
I
not live your
the other
life.
facts, the other I feel like the other kind of cultural group that Ryan like explored in the movie was the Chinese, I guess, Chinese Americans, which I did not know. Again, I didn't really know anything, so I didn't know that they had like a history in the Mississippi Delta in that
Yeah, me
area, kind
neither.
of being kind of an in between between like black people and white people, right? Like they could set up stores, they could serve. I actually missed this little detail of how like what was his name? Was it
Bo?
Bo? Bo,
Bo?
yeah.
Yeah, it was
How
Bo.
like when Smoke originally found him, it was like in their black store, and then he was like, "Oh, where's your wife?" So he had to walk across the street to the
Mm-hmm.
white store, right? And
And
I'm like, "Oh,
segregated.
they're really, you know what I'm saying? They're really
Yeah.
on both sides," and so it's very interesting what their role in the movie was.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know that Chinese people were even in the South like that.
Also, like they sounded like niggas.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie to
and
you.
they like and so I actually
Okay.
saw a I saw just after Sinners came out, of course, a clip of an Asian person. I don't know if she was Chinese, so she's Asian clearly, and
What do
she
you mean
lived in
clearly?
like I
Clearly.
can't, yeah,
Clearly.
whatever. Okay, she was Asian. It
Hmm.
was clear from the clip that I watched,
That she
and
self-identified as Asian, right? Right.
she
Okay.
was she was talking and like she sounded, if my eyes were closed and I was just listening to
Oh
audio, I would have thought
yeah,
that she was like a black person from the South. But no, this is a very Asian
I've seen
woman.
her.
Yeah, and I think her
I've
name was
seen her.
Frida. Her first
That
name
might be
was
right.
Frida, and I was just like, my mind was
Her
blown. So I
her
really love that
comments
that
are
was
riddled
inserted
with
there.
like, why are you what do they call it? I don't know. Basically, like appropriating. They're basically accusing
That's
her of like
wild. That's
a fake
crazy.
accent or whatever.
Which,
But
but sometimes it can look some type of way. Like, obviously, like, it's not fair to just make the assumption that, like, Asian
right,
people can't be from, like, that area. But I feel like a lot of people don't know that, or maybe the population is smaller. So, from, somebody just watching, they're like, what are you doing?
yeah. I mean, I get it. I
But,
get it. But like, look, in the movie, I don't know. I appreciated the nuance of how the characters were shown, right? Like, so they were immediately down to help Smoke and Stack. They're like, all right, we're gonna be down at the juke joint. We'll make the sign. We'll help like run the business, this and that, this and that. And then the vampires hit, and low key, Grace was like, "Yo, hey, go get the car, go get the car. We're out of here." Yeah, they're our friends, but this is not like our community. You know what I mean? This is these. Hey, you know what I mean? Like we were in it, we were making money together, whatever, whatever. But now it's time to dip.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just like we after we watched the movie, we were of course discussing it. We had a friend over at Dami. Shout out to Dami. But he was just, we're talking about the shows and he was just like, it's just kind of like that reminder that, unfortunately, to be very honest here, with a lot of people that are people of color, when it's convenient, it's like, oh yeah, people of color, we're all in this together. But then when it
Mm-hmm.
comes time to lean in and activate into that, proximity
Mm-hmm.
to the wider side of things, then it's just kind of like, ooh, black people, y'all are on your own. So,
Mm-hmm.
or you just protect yourself, right? Like you're gonna
Right,
protect
right, right.
yourself. So I actually wasn't even completely mad that they were trying to get out of there. My beef with Grace was she invited the vampires
Hmm.
in, and
Hmm.
she got the ending she deserved. So
Look,
that
man.
was,
Look,
I was
look.
cool with Grace up until that point, until she let the vampires in, but she died. So
I
that's
Wait,
what she
hear
I
died.
got a,
you.
I got a question. I got a
Mm.
question because it was like death by fire, and I was like, I feel like this is it's something, one of the parts of the movie that I didn't like catch on
Hmm.
to, but I was like, is there some significance there because he kept going back to her, like frying up when
Wait,
she
what are you
killed
talking
that
about?
vampire.
Oh, is that how she
Grace.
died?
Yeah, she like was like and she went and she staked somebody in the heart, but they had
Uh
caught on fire because the fire started like in the door
huh.
frame, and they both caught
Oh.
on fire, and then that's how like she was stabbing this person to death, but they were both like on fire. And I was like, I feel like, is this, I thought maybe it was symbolic, and I was like, I'm not really sure, because he kept going back
Hmm.
to her and the other
Oh.
vampire. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it, but
Maybe
I thought
relatives,
maybe y'all wouldn't.
extended fam. If
Yes,
y'all have like a hunch or a theory on that, please, yeah, like drop us a comment, let us know, because I didn't even
absolutely.
clock
Do
that.
explain.
I just want to say on Grace. I want to say on Grace. I get it. Like that was not that was not chill. That was not very chill inviting all the vampires into the home. But I understood, like, okay, so they're talking about, first of all, Remick is speaking Chinese, talking about, I know how you like to be licked. So clearly,
Oh, I
this
forgot
man
about
is
that.
this man is in my husband's head.
Mm-hmm.
He knows about my child. He knows where my child is, where she sleeps. And he's talking about, so you can either let me in, or I will just go, I'll just go grab her. I'll go pick her up. What am I supposed to do? All right, come in.
Okay, yes,
What am I supposed to do?
as a father, Gene, I
Okay,
was
why
going
don't
to
you
say,
tell me
what are you going to, what
as a
are you going to
TT,
do? They are
as an auntie? Why
unalived.
don't you tell
They are
me what you're going to
unalived.
do?
They are vampires. They're unalived.
What
Okay,
is your
what are
point?
you going to do? What are you going to do? Look what she did. She said, "Let's take them on," and then they came in, and what happened? She died
Okay,
instantly,
Yeah.
they got
immediately.
watched, but okay, wait. So you're not. So neither of you guys is going to let them in to save my children.
What are you
Y'all
talking
don't
about?
care about your
So,
They,
nieces.
no,
what?
listen.
No, you
So
don't care about my nieces. Your
Grace
nieces.
Grace did this whole her shenanigans with the idea that she was going to like save her child. One, I think she had a better chance saving her child or being aware of what was going on by being able to keep an eye on her husband. Like it's not like the husband was like, "All right, I'm going to go off and like, do whatever to the daughter." She had eyes on her
Exactly.
husband, and as long as she had eyes on her husband
Exactly.
and the vampires, then for that period of time, her child was safe. And then
But
on
any
top
of the
of that,
vampires could have
and
left.
then on top of that,
There was no imminent
she
threat.
she invited the vampires in to save her kid and ended up leaving her child parentless as well. Dumb.
Okay, but her child
Dumb.
was the child
Yep.
was already down one parent, right? One parent was already gone. The other thing was like, okay, I can't, like they're inside a
So
building. I can't keep track of all the vampires. Any of them can leave and go pick up my kid.
Who's to say a vampire can't be a decent step parent or a decent parent?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Also, that
I
little girl did not
mean,
smile at them when
like,
they left to go to the juke joint. So I
I
don't
don't know what
know. I
I
don't
mean.
think
Look,
she liked
she was
him.
was she a teenager? She probably just have a little,
She
that was
didn't. She
just
didn't like her parents, and
teen
now she
I don't
has
years.
know.
none. So
Anyway,
And I'm
look,
like, okay, yes, I understand your kid was in, like, potentially in jeopardy. Again, the threat was not imminent. But also, like, okay, so like what about all the other people who have family as well? Like,
who had family?
she, everybody
Who
in
else? Who
there.
else had family? Everyone else's
I
Mary
family
mean,
had
was
her
dead.
white husband
Mary
she had
was
to get back
married.
to.
Mary did not want to get back to that white
Pearline
husband.
Pearline was married.
Pearline did not
Um
want to get back to that husband.
that's
All
not
these
true. Okay, maybe
cheaters.
she was just, she wanted to
She
clap
wanted,
cheeks for that
she
night.
wanted Preacher
But
Boy to go ahead and strum a
like
little bit
everybody
more. That's
had
it.
family. I mean, Cornbread, he had already turned, but like he
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
wife and
Cornbread
kid.
was a
Like
goner.
everybody has family.
Oh
Like,
So
what do
you
you
yeah, I
actually had
forgot about
mean?
not
that.
listed a
Like
single person who was
Sam,
inside who had family
what are you
that they cared
what are you
about.
talking about? Perline was in there, and then also
Pearline didn't care about her
Sammy. Like
husband. Okay, Sammy.
you're just
Sammy
saying
cared about
that.
his
You're
dad.
just saying that to go against what I'm saying. Sammy had. What do you mean? Okay, Sammy. Like other people had
No,
family
I'm just
too.
saying that. No, Pearline showed us. She showed us what she cared about.
Okay.
I have some beef with Mary that I want to get off my chest. I know this is I'm going in a different direction, but
That's fine.
I have
Speak on it.
thoughts. Okay.
Speak on it.
So I just want to make sure, I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Mary and her really, really digging into her 1/8 blackness to
Hey,
try and be part of the mix.
absolutely. I'm gonna stand on that every time.
And I just feel like Ryan was trying to tell us abolish the one drop rule, okay?
Hmm.
Abolish it. Get rid of it in the present day cuz y'all really will try and cling on to a shred, a little tiny the one drop of blackness and then think that you are about this life and you're not. And she, like, Mary was never one of them. She was white. She could dibble and dabble into blackness when she felt like it. And
Mm-hmm.
my with that, my only qualm with Annie was
Mm.
that, like, when she was sticking up for Mary, because the pick Rob and clean were like, why is that
Mm-hmm.
white lady in there and we can't come in? And she's like, Mary's family. Mary is not family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, but
Mary,
Mary was family
no, no, no,
though.
no, no. Mary was, again, a loose
She
cannon
was a
who
family
constantly
friend.
who but she was a loose cannon, again, who constantly endangered black people because she kept sticking her white self in Jim Crow era where it didn't belong. And I just don't believe in writing for white people who consistently, like, show that they're not actually allies and they're here to be part of the blackness for the fun. And I just feel like a lot of times black people can be very thirsty for white presence and, like, acceptance. And so, like, if a white person has a drop of black in them, or they do, like, they can dance on beat, they know how to snap to the rhythm,
Mm.
then they're, oh my gosh, you're invited to the cookout. Oh, they're like one of us. Or no, they're not. Okay. No, they're not. And Mary didn't learn anything, because when we jump into 1992 and she shows up with Stack, she's giving black girl aesthetic. So
Mm.
she didn't learn anything.
I saw
And
that. I
that's
was like, you
and
don't
that's
take those
all
hoops
I have
out.
about Mary. Exactly. And I was just like, and I feel like that was another message there, but it's gonna go over a lot of black men's heads, because white delight. I just can't stand Mary. So y'all know I
Yeah.
had to
No,
go
I
in.
mean, yeah, I understand me as well. One, off the bat, again, Haley, girl, you're very talented. Nothing against you, but I just, not that she's listening, but I'm
Who
just
knows?
like, you never know. But it's because, kind of back to what Tosin was saying. I'm like, these people don't understand, like, when, like, the level of white privilege was really infuriating to me, because I was like, you are talking to him crazy. Like, this is Jim Crow era, like, deep South. Like, you want this man to die. Talking about, you left me, and da, 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 da. Why does everybody need to know that? Why does everybody need to know? I don't know. I guess the community she was in, people probably knew or whatever. I don't know. Her mom
Mm-hmm.
was chummy with black people. I was like, but at the end of the day, if something happens, nothing will happen to you. Like, if stuff hits the fan, nothing will happen to you. The rest of
But
them will
something did happen to
die.
her though. Hey, she was the first one to
Okay,
go.
that's like,
But
I
that was
meant,
like
sorry,
her own
not
foolishness.
supernatural things.
No facts. I mean, although I will say that in that moment, she was trying to go out and get right. She was trying to in that moment help use her white
and
privilege to
and
go
she
and
But
help.
then
and she
it's
was feeling
funny.
real comfortable among her kind, because why would you sit down with
Yes,
those people? Why would you
exactly.
turn
No,
your back
absolutely,
on Remick when he was being
Hmm.
weird?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she was
Yeah.
comfortable
She
with
was
her
like,
kind.
oh, I
Once I
can
got that
relate to
gold
them.
to
They're going to listen
bloom,
to me more than they'll listen to you.
that
Hmm.
little gold to bloom would have done it for me. So where, nah, where'd you get this?
Yeah, she
The
was
Nah, I don't know
giving
where
balloon?
you got
The
this.
what?
The little gold
Oh, the
gold
coins.
coins. The
coins.
I said,
coin. Okay,
nah, why
okay.
do you have this? This is too much money for this specific time and place. I'm out
She
of here.
probably felt like she was amongst her white in-laws in Arkansas,
All
so
right.
she's
All
very
right.
comfortable.
I'm gonna do another zig or another zag. Other thing that a lot of people have been talking about is how the movie is anti-Christian. Which, by the way, I walked out and I was like, oh, I understand.
Ooh.
I understand why they said that, but I actually
Hmm.
absolutely don't think that it was.
Yeah,
What were y'all's thoughts on it?
I agree. I see it the exact same way. I can see why people would make that argument, but again, let's be smart people. Let's try and learn. Okay. First of all, I was floored, flabbergasted when Sammy started saying the Lord's Prayer, and then Remick
Mm.
started
Remy said, "Oh, me
a sing
too."
along. He's like,
He
I know
said, "Hey,
this.
hey, me
They've
too."
they've already used this
Why were you
religion to abuse
flabbergasted?
my people, because I
Because it was
just
supposed
thought
to be like,
it was like him crying out to God to save him, and Remick was like, don't call out
he
to the
said,
white
"Don't
man's
look at him,
Jesus."
look at me. Don't look at him, look at me. I'm the captain now."
And then he proceeded to baptize him as this was happening. Come
Mm.
on,
That I
come
was like,
on,
dang.
come
Mm.
I
on,
got some chills. I got
come
some
on.
chills there.
Yes, I was like, woo.
I don't know. It wasn't. It was like very. It was an impactful moment, and I appreciate it. I thought it was smart and, like, well written. But also, I was like, yeah, of course this guy knows the Lord's Prayer. He's like 1 billion years old. Okay. The Irish been Catholic. Okay. And he's also like, what God? Like, look at me. Like, I am probably a testament that what God is there. Like, so I wasn't
I
even
mean,
surprised that he came out like, okay, me too. I can dance. I can say some words too.
Those Irish jigs, that was great.
they were out there jigging, my boy. Um, no, look, I mean, the whole part about like, like they use these same words to oppress us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That Remick said it was like, look, the truth is, has Christianity been used as an oppressive tool by Western America? Of
Yeah.
course. Does it mean that I can't have a Christian faith personally? No, but like people get very like sometimes when it's like, oh, these are just facts. They're
Exactly.
just telling us what
It's
Yeah.
happened.
it's
Yeah.
facts, and it's a part of like the history of the religion, and I just feel like you can love God and serve him, and but then also like be able to acknowledge how human beings, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cuz there's like it's faith versus religion too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay,
Like
get
Mm-hmm.
into it, Pastor. Get into it.
Toasting.
there's
Toasting. I
it's
mean, this whole episode.
to me, I'm just looking
Facts.
at it like it's faith versus religion. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the faith that I feel like people have used to oppress others. It's the religion, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like religion is it's human. It's a man-made like a lot of these things are. And so I'm just kind of like y'all, instead of getting like your panties in a bunch, and I say this as a Christian, I watched it, I was not offended by it. It's just like in order to avoid making the same mistakes in the future, so again using our religion to harm other people, we have to pay attention to how it was used and weaponized in the past to hurt other people. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why when it comes to like certain things that all of a sudden it's like we have these blinders on and we oh no lessons can be taught, it's just completely perfect. That's not the case. This is a thing that's been very interfered and handled and manipulated by mankind, and we know that mankind has a problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
we like to kind of use things to hurt other people when we shouldn't. Let's learn from it and not repeat these things instead of getting our panties in a bunch and just completely shutting this down as like anti-Christian.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And I think
Yeah. Another.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say
No,
like
I was.
this is getting awkward. This is getting very awkward. I'm just gonna
There's
say
just
what I
so
was gonna
much to
say, which
say.
is
Mine's
uh,
not. Mine's not a real thing. I was just gonna say another thing. White people appropriated Christianity, but I mean, maybe that's for
oh,
another
that's
episode.
a whole nother podcast. Yeah, that's like a we should not even
Ooh.
another episode. That's just like a different podcast.
Type of
But we
podcast.
could talk about it. Yeah. We could talk about it though. No, I was just gonna say,
Period.
like, the thing about faith is like faith can come to you in a lot of different ways, and I feel like there is a lot of like God can use whatever circumstances. It's spread in a lot of bad ways, but it doesn't mean it can't mean good things for people. So, um, I
Okay, Mr.
How positive.
Evangelizer.
I love that.
that's my faith.
Evangelist.
You know what I
That's what I
mean?
meant to say.
I know you were working on it. Look, I do want to circle back. I do want to circle back to our resident president, Scaredy Cat, and I want you to just give us a little bit of, a little Scaredy Cat report for some of the other scaredy babies out
Scaredy
there.
cat in
Uh,
chief.
my fellow meow meows, okay?
Hmm.
I like I said at the beginning of this episode, I was not planning on watching Sinners. I had no interest. It looked terrifying. But you can definitely watch it. I will give a disclaimer. I did go with one of my sisters who watched it before me and was able to warn me about the jump scare parts. But I promise you, you can handle it. Watch it in broad daylight, of course. And then also just yeah,
Of
even the gore.
course.
I'm not one for gore, but it looked almost campy, good, but almost can't be to where it didn't bother me. So meow meow, we can do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ladies, I never want to end a binge without asking our wild card question, and the wild card question of today is: if you were in 1932 Mississippi and you and Remick were face to face, and you had an option, would you turn? would you let him turn you into a vampire? If yes, tell me why quickly. If no, is there anything that could convince you to turn?
I mean, yeah, like, bro, it's 1930s Mississippi, and I'm black, and I'm a woman.
Hmm.
I
Fair,
Hmm.
mean, I need
fair.
something, babes. I need something, and I'm unalived, but I'm not like dead, and
Mm,
so I can't go outside in the daytime.
sure.
But I'm still out here,
In Mississippi in
and
the
I'm like,
daytime in the summer, am I outside anyway?
because I'm like, bro, my skin is gonna be sizzling like the vampires anyway. So I think I might do it. And not only, it's also me messing some stuff up, as in
Mm.
killing all the KKK
Oh,
people,
facts.
Ooh,
maybe
like
Facts.
just
a
anybody
freedom
who does anything
fighter.
wrong.
Yeah.
A freedom
Yes.
fighter,
A
a freedom
blade.
fang fighter.
Okay.
But
All
I'm
right.
out
I love.
here.
Okay. Y'all are doing a lot of me jokes today. Actually, y'all are doing a lot of me jokes.
Dad.
Anyway, that's my answer. But also, I have to
Okay.
pray, but of blood of Jesus. So
Hey. Look, you can never go too far for him not to welcome
yeah.
you home again. All right. So we're not worried about
Wow,
that.
take us
Tosin,
to
what's up?
church.
What's up?
Wow. Okay, so a little more detail to this question than I was anticipating because for me, I was like, it depends. I thought it would just be would you turn to a vampire? Because
What was
then
the
I
answer to
have
that?
well, so it depends on the vampire universe, right? So if
Mm.
it's the sinners one, I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
no because I could never go outside in the sun. But
Mm.
if I could like combine aspects of like the originals vampire universe, because I think they were outside
Were they outside in the sun? They
in the
must have
They
been, right?
were.
sun. Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
It's the
they didn't have any
best.
issue with the sun.
The Vampire Diaries
Mhm.
universe, best version of vampires. Just want to say that.
But then I would also
Facts.
need to combine that with some of the Twilight universe because they could feed on animals, and I don't want to feed on humans.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, back to the more relevant one, sinners. I honestly, if I could turn with my siblings at the very least,
That would do
then
it.
I might do it. But I
True.
would have to be with my
True.
siblings. Don't say true. You
Mm.
weren't thinking about us, little Miss Vigilante.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta
Um,
do, but ideally, I would be there. I don't know.
obviously, for me, I care about my soul, so nah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
like how mad would God be if I
I don't know.
turned into a
He's a, look,
vampire?
hey, no, because Jesus died, he
Like,
gave his blood for all of us. He gave it for every sin, right? For all the sinners.
okay,
So
okay,
actually think you'd
we're
be
all
okay.
sinners.
I think you'd be okay.
I feel being a
Um,
vampire. I don't know if it's inherently like
evil.
antichrist
Yeah.
evil.
In this
I think
universe, though,
it's
that
like
they give up
what.
their soul, though. You end up like you
Um,
yeah, right? That's what Andy said.
Okay,
I don't know. Maybe
Believe
not
black
look,
women.
I
then.
don't
Believe
know.
black
I don't have
women.
to be like you. I don't have to do that. We can all move to the. We can move march to the beat of our own drums. So
Okay. Okay.
just
All
saying.
right.
Just
Um.
saying.
Anyway, ladies, it was we have binged. There's no banter today, but we have binged. It was an incredible movie. I don't know. I actually got to go
Yeah.
see it again. I'm trying to get back in the theater.
I missed the beginning and very end,
Oh yeah,
so
me
I do
too.
need to go
You
back.
missed
Oh,
the end. Oh, that's
you
crazy.
left?
Like
Oh,
the
you.
no, the
The
post
post
credit. So I
credit
saw like
scene.
the stack and Mary thing, but then I guess y'all said that what's his face was in the church
Oh, he was just
singing.
singing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
also,
that's what I missed.
I was just floored that that is that guy actually singing. What a Miles Canton, I think is his
Yeah.
name.
Shout out.
Very
Shout out.
talented.
I
Very
think
talented.
Catton,
Yeah.
Every single
Yeah,
actor
good beautiful
came
voice.
and understood the assignment. There was not a weak
Mm-hmm.
link
Yeah.
in the bunch. And MBJ, best performance of all time. It was
Oh
his best
yeah,
Yeah.
for
performance.
sure,
Yeah. Well done. Everyone just
for
did
sure.
everyone just did so well. And not just the
Yeah.
actors,
It
but like
was
clearly Ryan Coogler.
Oh no, he
Um
elevated into
yeah,
that next tier of filmmaker. Like he's in the top tier. He's in the
I
top tier.
yeah.
I just like yeah, I just want to shout out to everyone because like honestly in a world like where we're currently
In a
seeing like
world.
these where
Sorry, go
we're
ahead.
currently seeing these corporations in Hollywood.
Yeah.
No, just like they're not even trying to be subtle anymore about backtracking on being like inclusive or telling more diverse
Mm-hmm.
stories
Mm-hmm.
and then also combine that with the fact like we don't really see original content anymore. Like everything is like a remake or a spinoff or an IP or something. I just love that Ryan Coogler stood 10 toes down. He was true to himself and he
Mm,
told it like an original, unapologetically. Ooh, I almost started on that word. Or I did.
mm.
Unapologetically Black story, and he didn't water anything down, despite like the climate in Hollywood. And it's just
Yeah.
like, thanks, Ryan, because thank you for the reminder that it can be done. And
Yeah.
yeah, and just the people who he brought onto the project, every single person from the cast and crew to,
Mm-hmm.
right, like everyone understood the assignment. And
Facts.
I'm just so like blown away and really amazed and happy that the story was told.
Man, I'm just sitting here.
Very
I'm
well
just
put
I'm
together movie.
just feeling amazed. I'm just feeling amazed.
Yeah.
Ladies, I don't know what else there is to say, but does anyone have any final thoughts?
Shout out to Black people.
Shout out to the Blacks.
Shout out to Black people. Shout out to Ryan Coogler.
Cougs.
Um, I would like to say that I started using a new deodorant, and I think this one's because I was using Native, trying to be aluminum free. Then I used Hello. She didn't like me. I had to say goodbye. And now I'm using Dove,
So I knew it was
aluminum
coming.
free,
I can't
aluminum
Okay.
free,
stand
and
you.
she's good. So this is not an ad.
But Dove,
But,
please,
no.
if
One
you
day.
happen to hear us,
One
yes,
day.
we'd love a sponsorship.
And Native,
Okay?
sorry.
I'm not
Sorry,
And
sponsored.
Native, because I
I'm
use
still using
Native.
Hello.
Yeah.
I use Hello. So hey, anyone reach out and sponsor us?
And like,
All
I
three.
Reach out and
mean,
sponsor.
the trifecta.
Hey,
All
facts.
three.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I did want to just say also that the ending for Smoke, the little scene where he finally got to hold his baby girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
Boys was
yeah.
in tears.
That
Boys was in
was,
tears. Tears.
Yes.
Tears.
He
Tears.
yeah.
got a happy
Yeah.
ending. He got to be with his
Yeah.
baby and the love of his life
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the ancestral plane.
Dang it, Ryan.
That was,
I mean, you really did your thing, man. The movie was it was everything. It was everything. Anyway,
good.
shout out.
Yay.
Maybe we'll check in after I see it again. Who knows? But thank you, extended fam, for sticking with us. It's a longer episode. But we had a lot to say, and this movie deserved it. And we will see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Real Relatives. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave a review, rate us, subscribe, and share our podcast with your people. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and whatever platform you enjoy listening to podcasts on. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X, at Real Relatives. That's REEL, Relatives, to stay updated on new episodes, vote on polls, because, side note, Gene loves a good IG story poll, and just share your thoughts with us. We really mean it when we say we want to hear from you. Make sure to tune in again in 2 weeks for more banter on TV and movies with the Relatives. Until then, take care and happy watching.